play this game.
All right, gents, we are live and we're ready to rock and roll. So, Forge Father FM, you two are absolute perfect guests for the show. We're talking all things uncommon. We're talking about raising the bar and not settling for average. We're talking about, tearing the mediocrity out of your life. That's what you guys do. Is that right?
That's right.
Right.
Getting uncomfortable.
And Travis,
getting comfortable. Yeah, go ahead, Reid.
Talk.
Yeah, and Travis, right before you pushed record, I think you hit the nail on the head with, people finding excuses not to find time to take care of themselves. And, if you're the mother or the father of a household, whether you're the mother or the father, you're likely a breadwinner or the co-breadwinner. And if you're not taking care of that engine, you're not taking care of the engine that makes your household go. So it's just an excuse. And it doesn't matter what you do. Justin and I have three different entities, three different businesses that we're focused on. And you can see I'm driving into the office right now. Justin just took me on a he just kicked my ass at Tranquility. I look nice and all beautiful right now, but man, just a second ago before I showered, I fell off my bike 3 times. If you notice my name, I typed in Reid fell off his bike 3 times Lancaster, because Justin just waxed me at Tranquility. He's in a different galaxy than I am, which I know I'm in the right pond when I'm getting waxed so bad by other people. I'm always trying to find ways to be pushed and stretched. And so I'm so grateful to have a business partner and best friend that pushes me both professionally and personally. So grateful for the last about 2 hours of my life on at Tranquility, where I fell off the biggest jump, if you will, hill, whatever it was. I fell down. On my first time at Tranquility, I've never been Tranquility. And
What are you talking about? Are you talking about what?
And it was a block.
Are you talking about walking? You talking about running? What are you talking about?
What were you guys doing?
Physical fitness. We were riding bikes at Tranquility. Okay, yeah. Help me out.
Got it.
Tell us more.
Riding the paths.
So we got some sweet bikes, and Justin. Well, first of all, Justin's an Ironman. He's consistently training for Ironmans. He has 2 scheduled this year, and so part of this is riding a bike. Well, I don't have bike riding in my physical fitness repertoire right now. It's just pumping iron at the gym and some light running. And so I got a mountain bike so I can jump into Justin's world of training. And he just smoked me on the hills of Tranquility. Absolutely smoked me. And when I mean smoked me, he's literally lapping me and coming back and lapping me again and lapping me again. And so it was just awesome. Awesome to get my butt kicked for the last 2 hours.
That's how you
I want to make sure you didn't get lost. Those trails, there's lots of places that you can take turns, different things. And if we get disconnected for too long, then it can take a half hour to go find him. And so I was doing loop backs and cutting back to make sure that he wasn't getting off on the wrong path. But I think to your question, being uncommon, we're kind of on this quest where we're trying to put ourselves continuously in places that we're uncomfortable, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and finding ways to consistently step into new places that are outside of our league. And I think physically, you're talking about how do you fit things in? How do you take care of yourself in light of a crazy schedule? It's a hard thing to do. And it's about finding a rhythm, finding something that works for you and being consistent with it. And for me, it took doing something like signing up for an Ironman and saying, I've got a date on the calendar, I've got something that I have to do, and I can't just show up on that day expecting that I'm going to be able to finish it, because there's no way I'm going to show up to something like that and not finish it. I have to be able to finish it. And so what's it going to take day by day and scheduling out a plan. And up until then, there was bits and spouts of doing some training here and there, but it was never consistent. It was never something that was growing me and pushing me into a place where I would advance and have growth every single week and month over month. And like this last Friday, a week ago, I set my best time, my fastest pace for the half marathon. And I've been doing training. I've been doing this for about 3 years now. And there's no reason why, there's no way that I would have been able to do that if I wouldn't have been building my foundation and having the base of training. And like last year, I was bummed because Ironman Wisconsin was canceled. And so I was like, what am I training for this year? Am I going to stop training because there's no Ironman? Well, I could have. I kind of felt like if there's no event, what am I doing this for? But I stayed with it. And I actually did a 21-mile trail run, my first trail run here locally. And I did a half marathon race in Colorado. Those are like the two events. They're outdoors, they're spread out. They're smaller events, so they didn't get canceled. So I still had some endurance stuff happening. And I even met up with my coach in Colorado to do some running. I feel like 60 miles, I think we did, in the mountains. And but putting something on the calendar, finding something that you can sign up for, having some objective that you're trying to reach, and finding something that you have to do daily, and getting to the point where it's painful emotionally if I don't get my training session in. If I don't get 2 days in, it's like I'm beside myself now. I've conditioned myself now that if I don't train every single day or 6 days a week, like I'm about to lose my marbles.
Yeah.
And my body's to the point now where it's like, it's craving conditioning. And if I don't feed it the conditioning, it's like I'm starving it the nutrients it needs. And that's what it took for me. For 10 years, as we built the company and had it going and working crazy hours to get the company going, I let everything slide. I'm just like most people, whereas like I can't work all day, like get up at 5 a.m., work until 7, take a break with the kids from 7 to 9, then work from 9 to 5-ish, 5:36, take a break with the family, and then get back and doing my West Coast client calls from like 9 until whenever. Even clients in Alaska and Hawaii, they're a lot earlier in the day, so I can do calls way late in the evenings, and doing calls sometimes up until 1, 2 a.m. Literally, that's been done before. We have clients that are from all over the world too, and so sometimes doing calls internationally where they're in different time zones. We've got a doctor right now who's in Saipan that we do meetings with. We're actually meeting with him right after this meeting, and he's in a crazy different time zone than we are.
Yeah.
So for 10 years, well, actually for 5 years, it was like grind, working a crazy schedule like that. It's like, how are you going to fit in any training then? It was like, if I didn't work on the business, is the business going to make it? Mm-hmm. And so there was a season, but as I look back, I think the choices that I made during that time were not as good because I was not breathing the way I should be breathing to get full oxygen to my brain, because every day as we do regular breathing, we don't get enough oxygen. Just regular breathing is not enough. We have to inhale, exhale, get our heart rates up. Those kinds of things really empower our brains to fully function and break through different ideas, different things. And so part of this I found is we're seeing more progress and being more productive now with vision, ideas, clarity, breakthroughs, troubleshooting different things, because we're training and we're actively using our bodies in a way that we didn't before. And it actually kind of stunted. We wanted all this growth, but it prevented us from being able to get to the place where we wanted to be because we weren't having the clarity that we needed.
Yeah.
And so we were showing up with maybe 70% of 100% of who we are.
Yeah.
Because you weren't staying focused and consistent. And as you start training daily and staying active, you start to think differently about how you eat and even how you rest. Like the latest chapter is rest, like rest and recovery and sleep. Like we're monitoring our sleep every night. We have some technology that we're using right now. We're tracking our sleep every single night. I get a report every single morning that tells me how much sleep did I get, what quality of sleep was it, what was my sleep efficiency, and ultimately what was my HRV. And is my HRV where it needs to be? And is it growing, or is it going down in the tank? So like, where am I at? Lots of different things that we've taken away from that. So, Brandon. So it's the kind of thing where we could absolutely just keep staying where we were, which was kind of mediocre, really. Or we could turn it up a notch.
So you're getting the full picture of what it takes sometimes. Here, let me.
You hang up there.
Oh, you gotta shut off, dude.
What do you say?
Because there will be a. I'm gonna remove you since you're both on the same screen.
Yeah.
There you go. Gotcha.
So that's kind of for me personally. That's one of the things that I found is that I've got to have an assignment. I need to have a special forces assignment, mission, daily. And if I don't accomplish my mission, my assignment, then I'm just going to drift. Yeah, we can turn those on.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah,
Look at us. We can see. I want this all in. And Trav, this I might be annoying you a little bit because I'm driving and moving and shaking, but this is literally the essence and the whole point of everything that you ever put on social media. Can I tell you something right now? I don't care. Like, are you done? Because I'm about to go in.
Go for it.
Because he just shared his experience of physical fitness. The longer I live, the more I understand how blessed I was to grow up in a locker room. My dad alone raised 6 boys. And so all we did was sports. And so I played college, a little bit after college, all through high school. And we had coaches telling us what to do all the time. And, growing up, you think it's the most miserable thing. You have 2-a-days your whole life. I never went on vacation. We never did anything. All we did was physical fitness. All we did was sports. And so, we complained about it from time to time because as kids, all you want to do is go ride your bike and have a good time or go on vacations, or you want to go to the fireworks show, but you got a tournament. And so physical fitness was a part of my life forever. After I finished playing baseball and got into the business world for 1 full year, I didn't work out. And it was all I focused on making money. I got debt. I need to pay. I need to make money. I need to do some things. And so I just didn't even think about the gym. Ironically, I was opening complete nutritions all over the country. And so everyone else is eating broccoli and chicken and going to the gym and taking care of themselves at the highest level, but I'm not. And I go to the gym one time. The guy said, let's go to the gym one time. Come to the gym with us one time. I'm like, fellas, I've been in the gym my whole life. I'm chilling on the gym for a little while. And I went and got the craziest pump I'd ever gotten, full body workout. We were in there for 3 hours. I was throwing up. The guys were yelling at me. And it was the best mental feeling that I had ever had in my life. I could still feel, and I kept yelling, I remember who the F I am. Like now I almost forgot who I was because I was so focused on everything else but physical fitness. And it was on a Wednesday and we work 7 days a week. And so the next 4 days, our companies, I was just on cloud 9. It was like, I didn't need to eat. I didn't need to sleep. I didn't need anything. That one workout got me through. And as I get older, I realized how grateful I should be for having that experience growing up where physical fitness was just a thing. Like my dad's 58 years old and he's a beast. Like he is a stud. And I just didn't know that it was really more of a mental thing. So for me now, actually the first time I ever met Justin, my now wife, who was my girlfriend, was babysitting his kids. And I came over with my gym clothes on because I don't care where I'm going. I'm working out. I work out no matter what. And him and I stayed up, long story short, him and I stayed up till 3 a.m. and realized, okay, we're going to do business together. This is going to be a thing. But Justin asked me, not really knowing me, what's your guys' they're trying to pour into our relationship, love on us as a young couple. What's your number one thing? What do you guys fight about? And we're like, we literally never fight. And still to this day, we really just don't fight a lot. But the number one thing was I spend too much time in the gym. Fast forward 6 years, 7 years, whatever it's been, and she's pushing me out of the house to go to the gym. You're acting like a psycho. Go to the gym.
She tells you she can see it.
She can see it.
When it's due time.
That's like right.
It's
my face changes because my mind changes. So I've been blessed to grow up where I can't go without the gym ever. So it's really not a discipline thing for me. It's really a calendar thing for me now. I'm going to the gym no matter what.
Yeah.
Everything. So it's my relationship with God is number one. It's my relationship with my wife and my kids is number 2. And then I have to have the gym. Everything else comes after the gym. Actually, that's not true. It's the business.
But when people around you see how effective you could be with your energy alone, you walk in the room and you look the part and you're talking the part and you have the confidence to get out there and make mistakes or ask the questions and everyone, just because you're so already confident in yourself, people want to follow that. So what has happened is it's been so important to us. And Trav, you know this because you were training our company for a little while until, quite frankly, people couldn't handle the heat. That's what happened. People
it was intense.
It was intense.
We were going like this, and eventually it was like, at what point are we going to be able to surpass this? Because we were hitting some.
That's right. I was crawling at the end of every workout. Crawling. I was on my hands and knees every single time. But it's been so important for us to make sure that after our relationship with our family, that business and physical fitness become that number 4 spot.
They work together. Having one without the other is, like I said before, you're bringing like 70%.
That's right.
At most, if not worse.
And so we give time on the clock. And it started out from 8 to 9, everyone was working out, but that didn't fit everyone's schedule. So we just said, we believe in this so much, you work out whenever you can. And if that means you leave early, then we're willing to make that investment as a business, because we know you're going to be better for it. And so it's just an excuse if you're not pursuing your physical fitness journey. And I'm not here to like beat people over the head with that. Like, I get it. I get the challenge. I get the struggle. But if you really want to live till you're 75, to be around your kids, to be around your grandkids, and you want to be an upper echelon human, get after it. Get after it. There's no excuses. I see your wife. How many months pregnant is she now?
Getting close, doing at the end of June.
And I think she was doing squats yesterday.
Yeah, she's still.
And I was like, let's go.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like what you guys are saying. It's I'm getting like feedback, but it's all good. All right, it's gone. But no, it's a part of who you are, right? Like, it's part of your identity. And when you're not being who you truly are, like, I'm the same way, and I remember one of the first times we had a conversation, Reid, I was like leaving the neighborhood, and you're like, I'm going to the gym. It was like 7 p.m. or whatever, right? You're like, I'm going to the gym. I have to go to the gym. That's what you said. Your wife pushed you out the door. I'm like, I get it, man. You got to go do it. And it's like, when you get to a certain point, Justin, you mentioned this, when you don't do it, like, I don't know how people can go a whole week without working out or getting like a sweat in. Like, I go crazy.
People get used to being sick. They get used to feeling a certain way. Right. And I'm going to call it.
It goes both ways, I think. It definitely goes both ways. It's like, all right, you're either going to make it a part of who you are, or you kind of get to that place where it's just, that's who you are. You don't work out a lot. And the transition is, that's the toughest part. But here's a big question for you both is, like, and you've already answered it
partially.
Like, the success that you've had
just
from improving yourselves as a whole. Because I feel like, we got roles as dads, husbands, producers, then that athlete role, right? And I feel like that athlete role helps build up those other roles a ton, just from the way you show up. More
think energy. About how we're the uniqueness of men and women, how God has made us. He's created us a certain way. And as men, we're meant to be defenders and protectors of our families. And how can I defend and protect my family if I am, willfully choosing to not stay equipped, not stay ready? Am I really loving my family if I'm slacking off in that area and not putting in what I could be?
That's how you look at
it. That's, I love a video that Will Smith has. He talks about self-love. What is self-love? If you want to be happy, you have to love yourself. Well, how do you love yourself? You make decisions and you choose to not do things that you shouldn't do at times because it's not good for you. And he talks about discipline. Discipline is the best form of self-love. Well, we're all about StrengthsFinder, and we all have on our offices and little displays of what our top strengths are and what all their other rankings of strengths are. And discipline is one of the top 30, is one of the 34 strengths of the Gallup Strengths Finder. And, you know, my discipline is maybe not in the top 5 or in the top 10 or whatever. But at the same time, I have other strengths like being competitive and finding out in you, each person's so unique and so different. How can I love myself? It's going to be through discipline and choosing to prioritize things that need to be prioritized, and then being able to stay equipped, stay ready for the sake of the family. And I've got on my phone here, this is my VO2 max. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this if I pull this up, if I put this up here. Can you
Put it down a little bit?
One.
Just look at the screen.
Huh?
51. Bottom number says 51.
Yeah, this one's 52. 51, 56 is the running.
Okay.
51 is the biking. But if
Your fitness age is that of an excellent 20-year-old. There you go.
so before 4 or 5 years ago,
Let us use that real quick to plug BioStrap, because BioStrap's about
no.
Is that not BioStrap?
This is not BioStrap. This is just Garmin. This is just a Garmin. This is just a heart rate. This is tracking my heart rate as I work out.
Okay.
And I'm turning 39 next month. And people think about life. I don't know, maybe they don't. As you age, at some point, people probably have an idea of when they're going to peak. So as you're tuning in this right now, what age are you going to peak in your life? Is it when you're 40? Is it when you're 45? Is it when you're 25? Like, at what age are you going to peak? And this thing's saying that I'm at a fitness age of 20.
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, I probably was more in line with what my age was. There's no question. But because of the training and Ironman stuff that I'm doing, I'm reversing my age. I literally, every day as I get a day older, I feel like I'm getting a day younger.
Yep.
Every single day. And it just becomes, it kind of compounds. And so the more and more I stay active, the more that I feel like I'm reversing my age. And it's like, wow, I always kind of feared, like, okay, when I'm young, I don't have a lot, or I don't have as much resources, I got all these things I want to do, but I'm not going to be able to do them because I just don't have the means, because I like to travel, I like to do fun things, I like to be active. And then once I get older and maybe have a little bit more stored away, then I can go do some fun things. But then my body, I'm not going to be able to enjoy it. I'm not going to be able to go have those experiences because I'm going to be older. Well, who was I looking at? Like, what was my frame of reference to even think that? Like, with what I'm experiencing now, it's like, no, I'm like in this zone right now that I'm going to be able to continue for the next 20 years. When I was at the Ironman Florida, my favorite part of the day, we're on the beach. Okay. The sun is coming up. We're all in our wetsuits. We've got our swim caps on. We've got our goggles ready. They got the big balloon thing that you go through. It's got the chip on your ankle, and you're about to go through and get the clock started on your time. And we're in different batches of what time you think you'll finish the race and whatever. So that way it's all segmented out. And the announcer is announcing things about the people that are there. 3 people behind me, the guy gets announced. And they say his name, and he was a little bit taller than me. And they say his name, they announce something about him, and he just looks up like this and turns around, and he just grins. It was almost like his smile it somehow expanded all the way to his ears. Is how he didn't have all his teeth. He was 82 years old. And they were like, so-and-so is back. He's here again. I got full body chills right now. I don't know if you can see that.
Love it.
Thinking about that experience. This is my first official Ironman. I did the Utah's Toughest year before that, which is a whole different story. But they announce him right after I'm starting to get through the line to go through. And I look back and I see him. He might be missing like 2 or 3 teeth right there. And he just smiles like he's in heaven.
Yeah.
And it's like,
living, baby.
If he's got it figured out.
Yeah.
So when are we going to peak? It's not 40 for me. It's not going to be 50. I mean, I have an uncle who had a tragic accident, ripped the hamstring off of his femur from a boating accident, skiing accident. He rehabbed, and he's done, and even competed at a high level in his age group, and has done Ironmans all across the world. And he was in his 60s, upper 50s and 60s.
When's your next Ironman, Justin?
So September and October. Ironman Wisconsin redo from last year, and then Indiana's right after that.
Reid, when's yours?
I don't have one scheduled. I'm not a major
Let's get it scheduled.
I'm not a he's more like you in terms of like Spartan type of
We got a 30-mile race tomorrow. 31. Well, it's the map says 35. Another thing says 31. I'm not a distance runner. Definitely not. But I like what you said, Justin. Like, you're on the beach, sun's coming up. What could be better? It's like you're in the moment. It's just it's pretty awesome. And in my mind, that was one of the biggest things I remember from the Dallas Ultra that we did back in 2018. I remember we kicked things off at 6 a.m. I mean, you're up early. It's cold. Mentally, you're like, gosh, I got 30 miles to go. It's like you get an hour into the race and the sun is just coming up.
Yeah.
You're just in the moment. You're like, this is unbelievable. Great gratitude. Gratitude is something that comes to mind. It's like just having the opportunity to be able to use your body and do that, because there's people out there that can't, you know?
That's right.
And so
that's what you were talking about a moment ago.
Yeah.
You were basically saying you were saying on all the things you just said about being grateful for what you had and being able to experience that. And the more that you train, the more active you get, the more more grateful you become, because you're like, holy cow, I didn't know that I could do this. Didn't know this is possible. My body, the more I invest in my body, the more that it responds and gives back and rewards you. It's like, this is our vehicle. This is what we get to travel in.
So I told myself I was going to do a good job of sharing the mic on this podcast because I'm a talker. And so I think I've done a good job with that, but I'm about to burst. You know, when I say I'm a psycho, my head's always going with ideas. I feel like I'm on a time clock. Like I'm always feeling like I'm on a time clock. And sometimes I feel like I'm ahead, but sometimes I do feel like I'm behind. And so I'm always thinking and strategizing and wanting to make things happen in my life. And I truly believe that how you do one thing is how you do everything. I truly believe that. So if you're physically unfit, I truly believe that you're professionally unfit. I truly believe that you're relationally unfit. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And so I cannot affect my family. This is how I feel. Maybe it's different for other people, but this is how I truly feel from my own experience. I cannot come home and affect my family in a positive, happy, joyful, full of gratitude manner if I'm not taking care of myself. And so your original question on this segment was, how has this affected you guys as businessmen, as making money, as providing? Well, when you own a business, as you know, Travis, there's risk involved, lots of risk daily. And so how do you forge through the risky situations that may cause anxiety and stress and wanting to give up? I believe that my physical fitness has helped me develop an abundant mindset versus a scarcity mindset. We don't have enough money in the bank. I will say one really, really important thing is, man, share your business, share your life. This morning, Justin was telling me we were going over some numbers. We were doing some things. We were thinking about planning and doing some stuff. And he called me, what did you call me? You called me like a scaredy cat or something, a certain way of, yeah. I said,
Nervous Nelly.
We got some major investments coming up. And I wasn't at the last leadership finance meeting. And so I'm thinking, I'm going towards a scarcity mindset slightly. And so that's why it's good to have people to push you. That's why it's good to be in a group of some sort. Well, he called me, what was it again? Say it one more time. Nervous Nelly. And my initial thought was,
you want to fight.
I said,
you want to fight. You told me to come in and
Come to my office in my house and say that, dude. Come to my office in my house and say that, dude. You know. So, but it was all out of love. Like, man, it's because he loves me. It's because we love each other. It's because we care about each other. Because we bleed on a daily basis together.
I'm sure Betsy like that. Betsy, she's right there.
Yeah, Betsy on our leadership team. She was laughing and it's like, dude, you forgot about our goals for a second there. Like, even if you weren't at the leadership finance meeting, that is not in line. That thinking is not in line with our goals. And so I've developed calluses not only on my hands, but in my heart, in my mind, and on my decision making, that even if this is the last penny, I'm going to risk it. I'm not going to hold on to it. And so I would say, aside from the strength I gain from my wife and our relationship and my relationship with our Creator, Jesus Christ, my physical fitness is the number one reason why I'm financially successful. I fully believe that. I'm 32 years old. I've been a part of multiple businesses, and a lot of it, most of it was I was brought on for a leadership role to influence, to build courage and strength, to speak on stages, to speak in front of people, to get people to follow an idea, to execute on an idea. And that all comes from the calluses that I gained getting up at 4 a.m. for 4.5 straight years with a coach yelling at you. What a gift. What a gift. I wouldn't have done that on my own.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying there's a lot of people out there who haven't been trained that way, who didn't grow up in a locker room, and they've recluded as humans. We just naturally reclude to comfort. Mm-hmm. And comfort is obesity. Comfort is too much of the negative things. When you sit back and you don't push yourself, you're either going forward or you're going backward. You are never staying still, ever.
No.
So if you're not going forward, you're going backward, and it's just a choice. It's just a choice. And everyone's different at the gym. Like I'm over here flexing because I feel jacked. I feel strong. I'm very confident in myself, but I hope you don't flex, right? And I say that because you are probably the most shredded guy I've ever met in my life. But the reason I say that is not to pat you on the back or pat me on the back. I don't care. I'm like a flower. I don't look around and compare myself to anybody else. I just bloom. And that's what I want your people to hear, is that it doesn't matter. Like, I had a smile on my face the whole time. He's laughing me. I could care less. I'm having a great time because this is the most cardio I've ever done, number one. And number two, it's just so fun to be out there and get the blood flow. I don't care about what he's doing. I care about what I'm doing. And it takes effort to get to not look over. So the biggest, strongest, best looking, most successful guy in the room is likely the guy that's probably building other people up, because he's not worried about competing with other people. He's worried about he wants these other people to feel this, someone else's success is not your loss. Someone else's success, have an abundant mindset. There's plenty to go around.
Yep.
There's plenty to go around. So like when I see Travis Stotzel on Saturday morning, for the viewer, he's my neighbor, by the way, running behind my house with his shirt off once in a while, shredded out of his gourd, all it does is give me joy and hope. Like, you have a long way to go. And so you might feel great now, but you're going to feel way better. And it's just this new, instead of, oh man, that guy's cocky, or no, join that. And so the leaders of the world are probably pretty comfortable in their skin, because they like a snake, they slithered out of the discomfort that they were currently in of mediocrity.
What do you think? Speaking of that, let's just say you're a dad and that's where you're at right now. You're kind of stuck in that position. You're checking the boxes, and you see these things. You see guys like yourself, like, I want that guy's success. However, there's just something stopping you. Like, what do you feel like needs to be done? Like, what can help unlock or unshackle somebody in that position? What do you guys feel? And it's not motivation. You guys know it's not motivation.
It's not motivation. Motivation is not sustainable. Mm-hmm. It's not sustainable. So
I mean, I think
the
it
number
depends on
one
what you
excuse
say.
people, what'd you say?
I think it depends on what you're talking about motivation is. Is motivation the same thing as inspiration?
Travis is big on this. Travis, how about you give us your little 30-second, 2-minute elevator pitch on motivation? I follow him on social media, so I know what he's about to do.
No. I mean, motivation, it's great. We can use different things in life to create motivation, but it's always it's going to come and go. It doesn't matter who you are. I like what you brought up, Justin, in the fact it's like schedule it, put it on the calendar. That's going to create motivation. It's going to create it'll be the spark that you need to get you going, but then it's always going to be that discipline, right? It's always going to be that discipline that carries you forward, whether you're motivated or not. And then you can even tie in the whole, identity side of things. It's like, ask yourself, or I guess give yourself a good look in the mirror and ask, who am I really? I'm unmotivated. So what am I going to do in this situation right now? Am I just going to say, I'm not motivated today, so I'm not going to do the work? Or are you going to act in accordance to who you are? Are you going to maintain that consistency with your identity and, your actions, right? So that's really how I feel it.
Yeah, that's good, Travis. Thanks, man. That's first of all, thanks for all the social media you put out there. It's fuel for my soul. To answer your question, I would say number one, stop looking at other people. Stop looking at compete with yourself only. Be better than you were.
Yeah, me versus me.
Be better than you were the day before. Because a lot of times people want to, a lot of times people have fallen behind. We're the most obese country in the world. Why do you think that is? Tell me why you think that is. Because we're the most comfortable. We're the most convenient. If it isn't convenient and comfortable, so try to find ways to be uncomfortable. So I've never shared this with anybody but a couple of people. But I do some really weird things to be to stay uncomfortable. You know that little.
You're gonna do this? You're gonna actually announce this?
I think I'm just gonna share this right now.
Okay.
You know that little green space behind my yard?
Mm.
You run by there all the time. There's a green space. It's where my yard ends, and so it's a green space. In the middle of the night, I'll get up and I'll crawl through that green space, just to remind myself that I'm alive. You're alive. This stuff doesn't hurt that bad, because once you master the first level of discomfort, then that becomes comfortable, and then all of a sudden, you have this thirst to minimize discomfort in your life. And so you pursue things that typically make you healthy. But I think the first phase is compete with yourself. Compete with your yesterday self. And don't look around.
And anybody can do that. You start with you. If you look at somebody else that's way farther ahead of you, it's defeating.
It's defeating.
It's discouraging.
If I was competing against Justin in
biking,
endurance, or yeah, exactly. I would never get on it again today. Like after today, right? But I don't care. I'm not living his life. I'm living my life.
Yeah.
All I know is I got way, way better by, I'm the big fish at the gym. I want to jump out of that pond. And find myself as the little fish so I can grow.
Yeah.
And I go to Anytime Fitness. There's probably a lot of guys looking and seeing you're not the big fish at the gym, big dog.
No, I love it.
Let me ask this. So on this question, I feel like you were saying, who are you, right? At the core, who are you? What would you, Travis, say is the reason why you're here? Why are you here? Why do you exist today?
I think that's something. I think it's the journey. It's the journey that God has blessed us to be on. So every single day you're on this journey, and man, we can go down a deep rabbit hole here. But I feel like, you talk about outcomes, right? Okay, I'm going to run this race tomorrow. Is that it? I accomplished the race. I'm done. Absolutely not. It's just another experience, something to be grateful for. Okay, I hit this peak. Where's the next peak? Like, why am I here? I'm here to keep going. That's what I feel. I'm here to keep going and keep living through this body and be on this planet that we're we're here on and experiencing it. And I think it goes above and beyond just checking the boxes in that regard. Right. So,
Yeah.
and it ultimately comes down to you making that decision. Like, is that what you want to do with it? Or do you want to do the most with what you got?
Yeah. Continually striving for greatness. I like that. That's good. I want to answer. Can I answer?
I didn't ask you.
Oh man, I want to answer.
I wanted to say something about you with your one-liner that you always say, which is about paying bills and dying.
Yeah. We're not here to pay bills and die. And I am saying that in our company all the time, in our household all the time. We're not here to pay bills and die. I exist to liberate people from their own personal jails. And I'm 32 years old. And so I feel like I'm just beginning to be able to start to do that. I had to spend time building a business with Justin, building multiple ideas, multiple strategies across many different platforms and many different industries to be able to afford myself the freedom to take time to do a podcast, to take time to ride the bike on the clock. And those are all stories that I'm going to be able to tell in the future to help liberate someone from that. People think that jail is steel bars in a giant warehouse. It's not. Listen, you might look at and listen to Justin and I and yourself. These successful guys, they own businesses, they're physically fit. We have jails. I have a jail around me right now. We live in a fallen, broken world, and I'm a sinner. And there are certain limitations that I have in my brain that is my jail cell. It is. There's certain things.
What is your jail today?
Are
you breaking free from that jail? Are you graduating from that prison and working through the growth process to what the next thing might be that's holding you back?
So I'm a dreamer and a believer and a strategist, and I want to be a world changer, but 5 hours ago, I was living with a scarcity mindset. So if you don't have it, you don't need it. Just go right now. If you don't have the current thing that you think you need, you don't need it. Just give your best effort that day. I always think of this as like a proud moment of my life. My pastor, I was sitting front row. I like to be in the front row. That's another tip I'd like to give. Whatever you're doing in life, if you are humbling yourself to give an hour or 2 hours or a full day at a conference, whatever it may be, to listen to another man or woman speak, go sit in the front row.
First class.
Go sit in the front row.
Why treat yourself to coach class when you can be first class?
There's some certain psychology things that you can do in life that make you give more. If everyone's looking at you from behind, you might not be nodding off like Senator Ted Cruz was last. And I can tell you, yeah. You might not be nodding off. You might be getting the most out of it. Yeah. And so our pastor said, I'm sitting front row. Our pastor said, and I wouldn't be able to share this experience if I didn't push myself to the front row all the time. At first, my wife was like, "Can we just like middle row, maybe?" No. I want to be front. I don't want to sit on the bench in my life. I want to be on the field all the time. I want to be strapped up. I'm not a spectator. Participation. I want to participate. And so my pastor says, if you always stay ready, and I'm like, you never have to get ready. And he looks at me and he's like, Reid, in front of everyone. And I was just really proud in that moment because I'm living that life. Yeah. I'm living that life of pursuing, never having to say, okay, I'm 6 months out to be able to participate in that. Dude. Or in 5 years, someday is never going to come. Someday is not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It's no day. It's never happened day. Mm-hmm. And so if you always stay ready, you never have to get ready. And I just want to be ready for whatever opportunity it is, because Justin and I recently have gotten world-changing invitations to do things that literally will change the world. And if it wasn't for our open mindset through being very confident in what we can bring to the table, no matter what it is, because of physical fitness, because of the calluses we gain through physical fitness, we wouldn't have these opportunities. Yeah. Both on the political stage and the philanthropic stage, we have a chance to change the world, and they have been invitations. And so I just wouldn't be confident enough to say, yeah, I'll do that. I'm game on. Game on. I have no experience, but I'm going to do it better than anybody. And I wouldn't have that confidence to do that if it wasn't for the calluses that I've gained through running till I puked, through doing the same workout for a year straight and not seeing any gains. The only thing I know in those moments, I'm not going to quit. Like Justin will smoke me on the treadmill, but he'll never beat me ever, because I'm gonna pass out and die before I see him run longer than me. So I can never lose. I can never lose.
That's awesome.
You can't lose unless you quit.
That's right.
Doesn't matter if the other guy beat your score or whatever. That's cool. It's in a competition, but in life you can never lose unless you actually make the decision to quit and give up.
That's right.
Travis, you were talking about the journey, and again, going back to why are you here? Why do you exist? For us, it's about our faith. We exist to glorify God. We were made in the image of God, our Father. And that's like, it's so easy to live life as if that's not a thing. But we're made in the image of God Almighty. Like, that's a big deal. And if I just think that my life is about living for the here and the now, and it's just about me, we talk about this, how if the pinnacle of my life is just whatever my gratification is going to be, I've lived for that. I've lived for relationships. I've lived for popularity. I've lived for pleasing people. I've lived
what kind
for
of relationships? Clarify that.
I mean, before, like,
because relationships are super important. Are you talking about impure?
Well, yeah. I mean, talking about dating relationships,
right.
dating.
Yeah.
I mean, I've lived for getting a high or a buzz from something. I've lived for those things. I've lived for accolades of different things, and all those things, they do nothing but leave me empty. There's a reason why all of us feel deep down something inside that says there's more. There's a greater purpose. There's something bigger. If you don't know what it is yet, you're still searching. And for us, we were blind. We were blind before we encountered Jesus. Jesus revealed to us who we are and why we're here, and we're here to glorify him. Well, how can I glorify him if I'm giving less than what my ability is? Why would I ever live at less than my ability? Does it ever make sense for anybody ever to live less than their ability? No. Sometimes people don't know what their ability is. And going back to what you were saying, how can we bring the temperature of the room up? How can we inspire people and build them up if we're not full? Like, we've got to take care of ourselves. We really can't help people in our community, our family, those around us, if we're not at a place where we're healthy. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to be healthy. So if all I'm living for is myself and my self-gratification and pleasure and whatever else, it has a shelf life of what, like 30 seconds, 60 seconds? Like, it's so short. It ends. It doesn't provide lasting joy. It doesn't provide something that continues on. We're meant to live for something so much bigger. There's a reason why we feel that way. There's a higher purpose and meaning to life, and it's to reflect the image and the purpose of our Creator. And if we're giving less than what we're capable of, if we're being lazy, we're being sloppy, what kind of energy am I going to bring to the table? What kind of attitude am I going to have? Your wife gets upset with you because if you don't go get your medicine from the gym,
That's it.
What's your attitude going to be like? Your attitude is going to suck. You got in your office
There's
on your wall a big plaque that talks about the definition of what attitude is, and maybe you should pull it up and you should read that. Is your attitude going to be where it needs to be if you don't take care of yourself? The answer is no. And maybe you think, well, you know what? I'm actually pretty good. I bring a lot of value and I'm okay. I can be at my best without being active every day. I'd say you don't know what you can bring to the table. If you think you're bringing to the table the maximum that you can bring right now, and you're like subpar on where you could be physically, you're not bringing everything you could be bringing. You could probably bring in 5 or 10 times more than what you're bringing right now. And so going back to why are you here? If you're just here for yourself, then you might as well just tune out, check out. Like that's a miserable life. That's why depression is the number one disability in the world. Like we work in the disability insurance business, and the number one disability on the planet is depression.
Yeah.
And it's that prison, that jail that you're stuck in. And we all have different seasons and phases and different things. But if we're not taking care of ourselves, like there's lots of research out there now, it's continuing to develop as maybe the number one reason why depression is such a thing. The number one medication for depression is nutrition, sleep, and fitness. We wouldn't have the depression epidemic if we prioritize those things. That's the cure. That's the number one thing we should be focusing on. There are going to be cases where we need medication. We have other things that we have to do that's more advanced. But are we taking care of those three things first? Probably not. And if I'm only here for myself, I'm going to be depressed. I've been there before. And I could easily slip into that tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
At any point, I could fall into that type of a rut if I go there. But what am I believing? Why am I here? I'm here for something that's way beyond me. I'm here to lift people up. I'm here to set people free. That's why, our relationship is at the level it is, because we have so much synergy, so much on the same pageness. We're like one when it comes to why we're here. We're here to set people free and liberate them from whatever's holding them back. That's before we even knew each other. That was like the thing, like the Holy Spirit living inside of us. I mean, that's something that's unique about us three right here, is that we have God himself living inside of us. And that doesn't happen if Jesus doesn't become Lord. If Jesus is not Lord, and we don't confess our sin and yield the authority of our lives to him, the Holy Spirit does not come inside. It is possible supernaturally for the Holy Spirit to enter inside of us. And we have this oneness of mind, this oneness of spirit, because God himself is living inside us. And so that empowers us. It gives us the courage. It gives us the desire to live for something way bigger than ourselves. And if I'm not here for me, if I'm actually here, why am I here? I'm here for Reid. I'm here for Travis. I'm here for every single person that's tuning into this. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. How can I do anything to help you if I have nothing to give? How can I give anything to you if I'm empty? I don't. I have nothing to give you if I'm empty. What do I have to do to actually fill myself with something that can have some overflow, like you talked about earlier, that can give something? I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. And you're here for me. I need you. We need each other. Well, what good are we going to be able to give to each other if we're just kind of ho-hum going through life and it's just kind of piddly this, whatever, and, just checking the clock, clock in, clock out, waiting for the weekend, can't wait till it's Friday. Like, really? Are we living every week to the weekend? If that's how you feel at all, you're not where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You need to change something inside of you, or put yourself somewhere else where you actually will thrive, where you actually will care and give a rip about what you're doing. And it comes back to, why are you here? We have a connection that is in agreement that we're not here for ourselves. We're here for each other. We're here for our families. We're here for our spouses. And we're not going to be able to bring anything of any substance if we're not living for something that's way beyond us. And if we want to take it to the other level, then we'll start taking care of the number one asset that has been given to us from heaven. Like, we were conceived. I mean, the science behind us being created, like, that didn't have to happen. God didn't have to create us. We didn't have to exist. God chose to make us exist. Like, you take a second and just think about that for a minute. He chose you.
Yeah.
He chose you to give you life and to carry you 9 months and to have you birthed and to keep you alive to this day. It's not an accident that you're here. And if we don't take care of ourselves, we're just kind of moping around.
Yeah, God talks about how our body is a temple, and we're supposed to take care of it like it's a temple. And so physical fitness is, in a big way, for me, extremely spiritual. Extremely.
It doesn't have to be the gym like us. like you were talking about BioStrap earlier,
Yeah.
and we haven't really talked about them at all. And we'd love to spend a ton of time on them. But, one of the things that we learned about from BioStrap, working with Kevin Longoria, he trains Olympic athletes. He's at another level. Simple things. Having 500 steps, 12 consecutive hours a day, do that. Figure out how to incorporate that in your life. That's the most important foundational thing that you can start doing. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Unless you have some kind of a physical condition that prevents you, but find something that's kind of equivalent to that. That's the most fundamental. You don't have to be a macho gym head sort of thing. You just start getting active. Are you doing what Reid said? Are you going to do one thing today that makes you better than yesterday? What's one thing I can do today or tomorrow that will make me better than I was yesterday? One thing. That's doable. And then it snowballs and compounds. It gets better. You start seeing small things initially. Then it starts to leap and bound.
And you start to develop confidence. And in that confidence comes this awesome form of humility where you look at a guy and instead of being jealous, you say, dude, give me something. I feel pretty awesome about myself, but I'm not on your level. So give me something. So I literally did that after the first meeting with Kevin. I said, dude, give me something to take me to another level. And I'm like, weird stuff, anything. He's like, okay. Do you wolf down your food? Or I'm like, what? He's like, I chew every single bite of food 35 times. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, go ahead. You probably know.
Eat slower. Just enjoy your food.
He chews it up.
Digestion process.
Because you can, your digestion and your body's able to absorb more nutrients.
Yeah.
And then you end up eating less.
It's a simple foundational thing, but a lot of people, they scarf their food down. They don't drink enough water. Simple stuff, right?
We've got to jump to another meeting. We've got a doctor in Saipan waiting to connect with us. And so we'd love to do this again. If that's
possible. Thanks so much, man. You're a business owner. I see you coming home late at night. I see you getting up early. I see you working out. I see you getting your earning your Sunday morning donuts or Sunday morning, Sunday night ice cream with your family. There's a healthy balance. It's fun. You're a business owner, man. You got another one on the way. That's 4. I mean, you got a lot going on.
Yep.
No excuses. I think that's why I love you so much is that there's no excuses. And we don't have any excuses coming from us either. And because of that, it's not easy. It's not easy, but because of that, we're able to enjoy a small amount of success. And the greatest product that comes out of that is a healthy, happy smile where someone can say, man, even during COVID, even during those times, that dude doesn't seem like he's wavered. Now, don't get it twisted. There's hard work that goes on behind the closed doors. There's blood, sweat, and tears. But man, when I'm ready to present myself to the world, there's a big smile on my face because I've given everything that I have. This is the best you're going to get. I don't care how much better anybody else is than me. This is the best I got, and I'm happy with that. And that liberates other people to slowly but surely start laying the foundation to a happier, healthier life. And I can tell you this right now, you cannot do it.
We're almost done. Hang on a second.
You cannot do it without physical fitness. If you aren't physically taking care of yourself, you will not be able to achieve personal joy. It just won't happen. And we're not sitting here saying no excuses and just sitting on the couch eating potato chips. I was driving from one meeting to the next meeting, and now we're getting ready to jump in with a brilliant doctor who's in Saipan right now, who we started a business with.
Awesome. So
Trev,
I'm happy
thanks for having us,
you guys on.
We're humbled.
Appreciate it. We'll do another one.
Yeah.
Love both of you guys. Keep doing what
Love you too, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
All right, see you, buddy.
Bye.
Later, fellas.
Bye-bye.